What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the Fox Performance Series 2.0 front coilover IFP shock for 0 to 2 inches of lift, fitting all 2005 through 2023 6-lug Toyota Tacomas. Now the factory stance on the Tacoma has a pretty big rake to it, which may be helpful for towing applications, but day to day it doesn't look that appealing, and the factory ride height can become a hindrance if you want to take your Tacoma on the dirt. Now this set of coilovers, this one coilover from Fox, will turn that around, creating a more defined stance to your Tacoma while also improving your truck's performance, especially if your struts are worse for wear. I do want to mention that this will only come with one in the kit, however, so if you are looking for two for the front, you will have to purchase two of this kit. Now again, this will come with one strut in the kit, so what you see here is what you get, and although it may not look like it, you'll be getting a lot out of this coilover. Now one being the leveled stance, giving the truck a very distinct look. You'll be able to clear obstacles that you may have previously come in contact with much better, and the shock itself will offer a drastic upgrade in your ride quality, whether you're sticking to the street or taking your truck off-road. Now thanks to the nature of coilovers, you can also customize the height by fine-tuning your suspension, and considering this just comes with one strut in the kit, you can pair this with whatever rear shock that you want to optimize and customize your setup. Now full 2-inch ride height, depending on your setup, you will also be able to fit up to about a 32-inch tire inside the wheel well to increase your performance that much more. If you are looking to mount up a 33-inch tire with this kit, it will require some trimming and minor modification to avoid any rubbing. Just keep in mind that 32 is going to be the magic number when it comes to tire size fitment. Now this will have a super in-depth construction, so stick with me here. Starting off with the body of the strut, this will be made of a 2-inch diameter impact extruded and CNC machined 6061 T6 anodized aluminum. Now to break that down, this will have a large capacity for the internal floating piston and the shock fluid inside for very efficient valving, and is super tough to resist damage even if you're taking it on the toughest of trails. Now the shaft will also be 5/8 of an inch. It's going to be hard chrome plated heat-treated alloy steel, which will resist nicks and bending, which is crucial when keeping the shock working properly over time. Now the internal floating piston and gas charge design that you really don't see here, that's going to have a high flow design to it, allowing smooth transfers on larger hits while still being very responsive for a comfortable ride no matter what terrain that you're on, and also resisting shock fade over time even when you're working the shocks super hard. Now this will come in at about $600 for a singular coilover, and compared to other kits on the site, that is going to be a pretty average price point for a more premium option. Now I say premium in the fact that this is going to provide some functional features for all types of driving, and with Fox being one of the biggest shock brands in the industry, the quality is definitely here. Now this won't be over the top though for owners who don't necessarily need every bell and whistle when it comes to a full kit, making this a great middle ground option if you're looking for kind of the best of both worlds when it comes to coilovers on your truck. Now install here will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and will probably take you about 2 hours per side to get the job done. Again, you are going to have to purchase 2 of these kits in order to install them on the front of your Tacoma properly. However, at this point we can head over to our shop and our Tacoma and show you a full broken down install and how to get these onto your Tacoma at home. So that is going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, a hammer, 17mm ratcheting wrench, a 19 and a 14mm ratcheting wrench, a 19, 17, and 14mm socket, needle nose pliers, and a pry bar. All right, today we're going to be installing a front coilover on our Tacoma, so let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect our sway bar link from our knuckle. So right here we have a 17mm nut. We're going to take that off. All right. And we're just going to grab our pry bar. We're just going to go right in the frame here under our sway bar. Pry up a little bit so we can get our link out. All right, next we're going to disconnect our mount for our sway bar. There's 2 14mm bolts right here and right here. We're just going to take them out. All right, so we're going to grab our ratchet and 14mm socket and take out these 2 bolts. All right, we can pop our bracket off and then we just move our sway bar out of the way. All right, now we're gonna take our tie rod out of our knuckle. First thing we need to do is take our cotter pin out. All right, so we're gonna grab a pair of needle nose pliers, straighten it out, and pull it out. All right, then we can grab our impact with our 19mm socket and take our nut off. All right, if it doesn't come loose, grab a hammer, tap on the knuckle right here, should break it free. All right, and while we're down here, we're gonna take our lower shock mount bolt out, the 19mm head with the 19mm nut. Just grab the nut and the washer off the back, then you can grab your pry bar, go up under the control arm, lift up, so you can get the bolt out. All right, now we're gonna come to the top of our strut and take our 3 strut mount bolts out. They are 14mm nuts. So we're gonna grab our 14mm ratcheting wrench. All right, once you have all 3 of those off, we can remove our strut. All right, now we're gonna remove our front strut. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lift it up to the top mount, pull our bottom mount out first, and then it'll slide in between the axle and the sway bar. All right, now you should repeat the same thing on the other side. All right, now we can install our new coilover. We're just gonna slide it up between the sway bar and the axle like we took the old one out. All right, if you need to, grab a pry bar. All right, and while you're here, if you need to, you can use the pry bar just to help lower control arm, just to get everything in place. All right, we can reinstall our lower bolt with our washer and our nut on the backside. All right, we'll come back to tighten that. All right, we can put our top nut and washers on our top of our strut mount. So we have our supplied flat washer and then our supplied locking nut. Put those on each stud. All right, and then we're gonna grab a 17mm ratcheting wrench and tighten them down. All right, so now we can put our sway bar and link back in place. We're just gonna put our link through our knuckle just to hold that up. So now we can put our bracket back in. All right, put the bracket back over our bushing and thread our bolts back in. All right, we'll grab our ratchet with our 14mm socket and tighten them down. All right, we can tighten our lower shock mount. It's gonna be a 19mm socket and 19mm wrench. All right, and while we're here, we'll put our tie rod back in. Put our nut back on. Grab our 19mm socket and tighten that down. Either reinstall your cotter pin or install a new one. All right, and then we're just gonna reinstall our 17 millimeter nut on our sway bar link. All right, now you just repeat the same thing for the other side. All right, and that wraps up our install of our Fox Performance Series 2.0 front coilover IFB shock for a 0 to 2 inch lift for our 2005 to 2023 6-lug Tacoma. And remember, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.